In the first assault, 30,000 American troops stormed ashore. British and Canadian forces struck at 3 different beach sectors. At Utah Beach, 20,000 American troops were landed. By the end of the first day, our invasion force ashore totaled 120,000 men. With every passing hour, with each passing day, reinforcements streamed ashore to enlarge the beachhead with tanks, trucks, ammunition, and supplies. Hundreds of our attack bombers and fighters were now over Europe carrying payloads of destruction aimed at the vital centers of Hitler's fortress Europe. In heavy formations cascaded 3,500 tons of explosives, a ton every second, upon Nazi-held positions. Our mass bomber formations were now given a canopy of protective air support by P-38 Lightnings. Together, they fought off enemy air attacks. As the roar of engines and concussion of the bombs were still ringing in the ears of a dazed and battered enemy, our ground artillery opened up. Our tanks and infantry rolled forward, driving west to isolate Brest and other ports on the peninsula. Other elements pushed south and east toward Paris. What was left of 10 German divisions was mopped up by the very men their Fuhrer had told them were not soldiers and would not fight. Again, the aggressor had made a slight miscalculation. As the Germans were meeting disaster in northwestern France, the United States 7th Army, combat-hardened veterans of the fighting in Italy, hit the beaches in southern France on the morning of August 15th. During that day, 50,000 men and their equipment were landed. The American 6th Army Corps pushed north along the Rhone River Valley. And other troops moved eastward toward the Italian border. The drive into the heart of France was deeper now. Patton's Third Army angled toward points just east and south of Paris. The First Army flanking the Third. The Seventh now was moving up swiftly from the south. Days after the landings in southern France, Paris was liberated after 4 years of Nazi occupation. The liberation of Paris, like the liberation of Rome less than 3 months before, was a cause for rejoicing, and its psychological effect was reflected throughout the free world. Among our troops, who paraded so proudly down the Champs-Élysées, were some whose fathers had followed the same flag down that famous avenue a quarter of a century before, celebrating another victory, which they too had won in the best traditions of the American fighting man, and who had come there not for conquest, but to liberate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are back for the match 2 of the tournament. Normally this would have been keelan1740 versus KNR, KNR being Wizard in this case, but unfortunately Keelan would not be able to make accommodations for today, and scheduling between the two of them would be rather difficult. So we're having Raymond do a one-time sit-in sub. If Raymond goes ahead and win, Keelan will continue on. Otherwise, it is the same, just swapping out a player just to get you guys some content. And that's really the difference here. We have Raymond playing guards versus KNR playing Japan. KNR opening with a Railer squad. Looks like... I'm not sure what squad that is off the top of my head. I think that's just a rifle squad. Pumpkin is a fairly large map for a 1v1. Keelan did pick this as Japan, which is a somewhat wise option, considering Japan just has so much more quantity than most other factions, generally having cheaper infantry options. Should allow him to spread out and use that to his advantage. Keelan is, or should I say KNR, is normally a combat player, so we'll see how he adapts to assault zones. Definitely seeing a good spread from both players, certainly better than that last match that we had. Those promising aspects. Really the most important part of this map is getting into these corners, especially that one on the right. There's generally a lot of cover and then a lot of not cover, which makes them a lot easier to hold. The other important factors are these rivers. You can generally get a lot of guys down here, and it turns into a grenade and flame span if you want to push them out. Guards has amassed far greater numbers here in the center, outnumbering Japan, while of course crushing them in quality, being 5 skill versus 3. Interestingly enough, Raymond being extremely aggressive with that machine gun. Not making use of its additional range and, of course, recognizing the value, but does manage to snipe those two off as he is going to secure his opponent's flag. Fairly even battle everywhere else except for the left flank. Raymond has not set anything and focused on getting a decisive victory in the center. This is almost certainly going to be a full dump kind of SP game, I would expect. Grenade goes off, not going to kill that guy though, but will he get the drop? Guards prove superior. As I was saying, the full dump with the SP, just considering how large the map is and how limited these players are going to be with their MP to secure up all of their weak points. I fully expect there to be a lot of SP units early, but we will see, of course. Like out from Japan, not a great choice, I would say, especially against guards with the MG still being alive. Especially now that he has brought up the customary anti-tank rifle from the mid. Guard's rifle is still doing the work. And the motorcycle is rushed forward trying to clear out the trench and just absolutely cut down. That is repairable and capturable if the guard player would like. Now seeing a Ho-Ha out. Lots of vehicles out from the Japan player. KNR being a little bit slow to take this free point, not recognizing that Raymond had avoided it entirely. As we can see, it is pretty one-sided with guards mopping the floor with Japan right now, but Japan still has, probably relatively equal numbers on the field just because of the quality difference. Another motorcycle out. Generally, you see those motorcycles early on as just to support yourself on the larger maps, but he really needs to get more bodies in there. The Ho-Ha can at least do something, being semi-protected with its gunners. We are seeing a anti-tank rifle out from KNR now as well. Raymond making use of some smoke, but not actually making full use of it. The motorcycle is not in a very effective position. I believe the Ho-Ha does have a cap value, so if he were to move forward to the center here, outside of the range of the grenades, he should be able to capture this flag back. But he is not realizing that in the moment. Another Ho-Ha out. Japan going with extremely heavy vehicles. Definitely risky against guards, considering while their anti-tank rifle is expensive, it is very, very high quality. One of the best, if not the best. Ho-Ha does go down to anti-tank rifle, and another taken out by a grenade. Lots of single buys now coming out from Japan. Not quite as good value as they could be getting otherwise, but not terrible. Raymond pushing forward, steering the left-hand side of the center ditch as well now. Excuse me. Either player choosing to dump into SP yet, they certainly have the options if they would like. Another Ho-Ha goes down to the anti-tank rifle. Definitely not working out for KNR here with that strategy. Most good players are smart enough to invest in AT early on. And without sufficient infantry cover to deny the AT rifle from popping up, it's a pretty short affair. Hago coming out, we'll probably see the sequence by Hago later. 2 Hagos, but again, vulnerable to that PTRS. probably consider investing into a second anti-tank rifle, realizing that KNR has gone so tank heavy. KNR able to reclaim that flag, at least temporarily. And some lemming trends going over here. Starting to look pretty grim for KNR, going to a 7-3, almost 8-3. KNR should really be dumping probably into the Imperial Guard squad right now. He really just needs more quality infantry on the field. Something that can't just easily be picked off by the anti-tank rifle. Anti-tank rifle now moving to engage the Hago, as it should. Raymond sitting on 250 MP as well. She now puts into another guard's rifle squad by the looks of it. This time we're seeing an SS Bogato flame tank out from Japan. Again, still vulnerable to that PTRS. PTRS trying to work on Hago. Hago has very little HE value, so it is a little bit difficult to kill. It does get a penetrating damage, and down it goes. Will the SS Bogato manage to accomplish anything before suffering the same fate? Probably. At least pick off these couple of guys here, but I imagine they'll go down as well. Another Ho-Ha out. And are really leaning onto these vehicles and not getting any value out of them. And I think rifle moving in a position to engage the Bogato. Has to be careful. There's a fair number of infantry here, albeit low skill, and he is near the range of the Bogato. And down it goes. And are loading up this transport. Guys, that's extremely dangerous. That Ho-Ha does go off, then it will be extremely vulnerable as far as those guys are concerned. They may all go down in one fell swoop. Raymond continuing to push forward, retake that flag with the new reinforcements. Looks like we are seeing a Type 92 HMG out as well. An okay choice on the map, just has to be a little bit concerned with positioning. There's a little bit of rolling hills in certain locations. Finally completely taken out, non-repairable now. And here comes the Bonsai out from KNR. So we're going to see some tension paratroopers, some Bonsai chargers, as well as these Jihad guys. Looks like we're seeing shock rifles out from Raymond, as well as some infantry ammo. I'm not sure who quite ran out of ammo. Lots of Japanese infantry still getting cut down, though. Needs to be unloading these infantry off these GI guys before the anti-tank rifle gets them. Definitely wants to have that second anti-tank rifle out. Is a little bit of a risk now. He has relocated over to here though, much better angle. It's likely to be engaged. Several penetrating hits. No effort to engage him. Free move is engaged, but it's going to be enough. GI Kai does burn out. The other GI Kai had been sent over to the other flank. A little slow on the micro over here and not making use of his one advantage as far as map control. The AT rifle go down? He retreated. Okay, so that guy's out of ammo. That's probably what he brought up the infantry ammo for. Raymond definitely being on top of the game state. Another SS Bogato out. That could be devastating if that infantry ammo does not get up there in time, or he figures out where he had left the assistant at. We do have some SP elite snipers from Raymond over here on the front as well. So relatively low value targets to engage. We are finally seeing good push over onto this flank. No AT over here. Raymond really needs to be putting out some armor of some form. Even the 50 cal from the half-drag SP buy couldn't make a difference here. Though better yet, an anti-tank rifle would probably be enough. Looks like we might see a little bit of a comeback here from KNR. Simply due to the lack of anti-tank from Raymond, although we are seeing a second anti-tank rifle out. Smart. KNR being the first one to go on the officers, correctly at the, or near the unlock, I should say. Raymond on top of the micro getting that ammo resupplied. Now he got the crate over there. Gato is able to roam free in the middle, taking out several of those relatively expensive guard shock rifles. Snipers are just having a field day over here. But they're targeting them bug out. And it is aware. Low penetrating hits. Stuck on the edge of the bridge, that is unfortunate. Really wants to get down to that ditch. At least buy himself some time. And down it goes. Takes the bridge. Again, are able to pull it back a little bit. Probably not enough. Right, now investing into his own officer. KNR out with the Chi-He. Not sure how much that is going to make a difference. Although he does have 50mm frontal armor, so as long as he stays front on, he is going to be pretty much immune to that PTRS. More normal rifles out from Raymond. Seeing a Chi-120. Chi-120 could certainly make a difference, though it is vulnerable to the PTRS from the front, unlike the Chi-He. Another motorcycle out. I really don't think motorcycles are part of the play, especially if you keep moving them without the gunner. Chi-120 doesn't really have a whole lot of high-value targets to engage unless he finds out those snipers. Or the PTRS, that is. And Bonsai's out from KNR. Oh no, actually these are SNLF. Wait, are they? No, sorry. Excuse me. I'm not sure what these are. Might be normal rifle? These are assault. I can't remember. It is escaping me. We're seeing a heavy mortar out as well. I'm not sure if that's the SP buy or the MP buy. That is certainly a good choice for the middle. Take out these big concentration guard infantry. Can easily regroup its value quickly. PDRS doing its work on the Chi-He, managing to land some, or sorry, the SNLF Chi-120. Does manage to track it and get a couple penetrating hits in. Looks like he may have broken the target. Target? I'm not sure. He is able to do some work though. PTR is still alive, out of ammo again though, unfortunately. What happened to the other PTR? PTR, this one should be able to engage, and it's not. Looks like those boats might be just blocking the angle of it at once. There it goes. Penetrating hit. Is a big mistake from KNR right here. He really needs to keep that tank alive. We are seeing out a T-34 though. T-34 will easily be able to deal with Chi-He. Being the veteran, he does outrange the Chi-120 as well. PTRS does manage to take out the Chi-He the rest of the way. And investing in the mortar officers as well as the SP buy for the mechanized. Could easily be able to overwhelm this section. GI-120 remains 34, as I said, you can easily deal with. KD definitely in Raymond's favor. As is somewhat expected. Not sure what these bombs are trying to accomplish here. I think he was just trying to get them over the bridge. We're being smart, staying out of the angle of the GI-120. 150mm mortar has not made its impact seen yet. Definitely a mistake. Could be taking out large sections of these guards. Outtrack able to clear out the rest of the bomb dice. Middle goes back to Raymond again. And are putting out the rarely seen Keanu. Does have a very good heat round. Could kill the T-34, I believe. Although getting in range is going to be a certain issue. There's 30-meter range difference on that. Another Bogato. KNR just leaning way too much against these vehicles, probably not experienced with good players who are used to buying lots of AT and microing in. So the GI guy doesn't aim to take that out. Down goes the 120. 234 is located over here to take it out. He knew likely going to suffer a similar fate. Both AT rifles are now out of ammunition. Definitely needs to get better ahead on that. Is he going to load the heat shell? If he fires the AP, he has no chance of penetrating that T-34. Not sure what he had loaded, but it would make a difference if he didn't land the hit. Both sides are making use of the officers. Although Raymond could be investing into another officer, he has lots of payback he could be getting, and it is over the 40 CP extreme scaling cap, I guess as you could call it. Once you're below 40 CP, and increasingly more as you go lower, you certainly get a lot more money back. Unfortunately, cannot switch to KNR's perspective to take a look at what his situation is simply because of a game engine limitation, but I imagine he is probably below the 40 CP cap based on having an officer and so little on the map as it is. Bogato does manage to make it, but is not playing out for 234 for 234 gets it. T-34 just cleaning house. Up to 3 vehicle kills now, about to take a 4th. And really, once I have those Imperial Guards out, the Bazookas can be doing wonders right now. Or Type 4, campaign launch, I should say. And it is aware enough to kill if he failed out there. Puts that T-34 at 90 points of value, about a third of his points. Anti-rifles chugging on behind. Now seeing an infantry ammo crate, unless he is grabbing smoke, is my guessing. Definitely grab some grenades of some form. These do look like Imperial Guard. He does have a Type 4 on there. Although these are only 4. I think these are mixed couple squads he has too. Definitely some Imperial Guard mixing with others. He accidentally grouped up his officer here. That is a huge mistake. Officers are extremely valuable if this game does manage to go into their game. 64 currently, so he's definitely able to be full attack. Truck does not make it to his detonation, and all of the passengers are getting eviscerated. down they go. Kanar has not realized that he still has the officer in there. Mortar is finally opening up by the looks of it. But Raymond has a much more secure hold on this middle point. Raymond still has paid very little attention to the flank other than putting a couple of spawn protection units. Although KNR realistically could very easily sneak around here and should be doing so. Made Michael Raymond shutting KNR down over here. KNR may be able to recap the flag, although there are some reinforcements coming in. Putting out a scout car and another rifle squad. I really don't see the scout car all too much anymore. Spear guards quality showing itself once again. Combined with the grenade, Michael Raymond will likely hold on to that point. Officer goes down. Very painful. Snipers still having weird targeting issues for some reason. Another Bogato out for KNR. Levy is at the unit cap for the flame tanks now. Vertical's doing work all over the map. The scout car and the M5A1 knocking out a ton of kills. Half tracks up to 22 Japanese kills and working on more. KNR desperately needs to go full dump with his SP now if he wants to bring this back. Raymond is slowly closing the noose onto his position. Half track is in an expert position, able to just fire over the bridges barely. Here comes the Bogato, who is going to get that. At some point, the T-34 did go down. Missed that. T-Rifle getting unlucky. Does manage to track it though. Both tracks are out. Looks like ASD had ended up in a position just to where it cannot hit that half track with those fixed angle flamethrowers. Very unfortunate ending. Not sure if that was a direct bailout or a manual bailout. It does self-destruct, so not sure if that was the PTRS or the self-destruct command. Another GE out. Again, these could be useful. They're definitely an underthought of unit of the Japanese roster, simply because they have that 50mm defensive armor, quickly to allow the Japanese light tanks to push forward in the face of anti-tank rifles. Raymond now sitting on a ton of money. He has blown almost all of his SP though, putting into a T-34 85 Elite now, which should crush Japan unless Japan is able to bump out a Cheeto. But even then, you're only matching the range. Cheeto is likely to lose on the initial engagement. The AA guns are, of course, another choice, which is probably the best one. So, the overall situation is certainly looking poor. Third 485 is way too close here. Chihi has no hope in penetrating it today. They're Bob's house, as is kind of expected. Raymond now has full control over center, and at 9-2 at 140-4, the match is looking to be over, sub 30 minutes. It's nobody in the grenade left there, though. A pretty crushing KD to finish out this first match. He put kamikazes onto the motorbike, that's hilarious. Never seen anybody do that before. And that is games, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back to you after a short intermission with game 2 of the match.
With the coming of spring, 1944, the winter stalemate in Italy was broken. Our forces slowly resumed fighting their way up the west coast of the Italian boot toward Rome against bitter German opposition. The British advanced up the east coast in the face of equally bitter opposition. In the Pacific, troops of the 1st Cavalry Division landed on Los Negros and Manus Islands in the Admiralty Group to wipe out all Japanese resistance and complete occupation of the entire group of islands. We landed large forces at Hollandia and Aitape on the north coast of New Guinea. General Stilwell and his troops were fighting the Japanese in Burma. Was global warfare on a scale never known before. Less than 3 years before, Hitler had addressed the Reichstag.
Germany, Italy, and Japan will wage common war upon the United States to a victorious conclusion.
In Rome, his fascist partner had declared,
Fascist Italy and National Socialist Germany, ever closely linked, participate from today on the side of heroic Japan against the United States.
A Japanese militarist joined the derisive chorus.
Americans have radios, automobiles, big beefsteaks. When a people has those things, they don't want to fight. Americans won't sleep in hammocks or lie in trenches. They are like a tiger whose stomach is full. They are sleepy.
The American is no soldier.
The American, no soldier? And yet there he was, carrying the fight to the boastful aggressor. The self-acclaimed Superman was learning to his bitter surprise and sorrow the fighting qualities of the American soldier. It seems the aggressors had made a slight miscalculation.
In Italy, our forces pushed on through rain and mud, over mountains, across rivers, toward Rome.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are back again for the second game. This time Raymond is going to be playing the Commonwealth, and KNR is going to play SS. KNR had picked December Remix. Did give KNR a little bit of a tip to play a little bit more infantry heavy. In the face of Raymond being a good player himself and knowing to have lots of ubiquitous infantry AT. Although, that said, the Commonwealth does not have the best anti-tank rifle, and SS certainly has options that are immune to it. December Remix, a slightly smaller map overall. Single by MG, that would be interesting. And commandos, as is fairly typical. Commandos being a very good buy, they get the 5 skill, or should I say 6 skill, and the veteran rifles, so they fire faster, and 2 machine guns, as well as a lot of white phosphorus, making them a pretty good opening squad. We've seen veteran Panzer Grenadier single by MGL as well, MG34 that is. Not sure that is the wisest decision, but we'll see how it plays out. Again, the flanks are going to be pretty dominative. Cover on hills is always a massive advantage, although this hill is a little bit lacking. There's plenty of cover overall in this map, though. Lots of close quarters. Britain has some CQC options, but they're not too crazy. Piat will do well on this map, however. SS definitely probably wants to lean into the Sturm Grenadiers and the Gebirgsjäger CQC squad, having lots of MP-41 Berettas. Commonwealth probably wants to opt for assault sections or pioneers. Good spread from both players once again. Again, Raymond being more focused in the center. Both players being very passive when it comes to the center. Raymond able to get to there and cap, but not being contested. More pushing forward. For as what I expect from SP by, they expect probably a couple of flame half tracks. 2 centimeter flag would always be good against Britain. That's her by. Britain should probably go just full dump paratrooper platoon and maybe a swaghound tulip. SAS Commando, Bren single by, and more Grenadier single buys. Not too often you see that with the regular MG, no elites, as far as a single buy. Certainly not on that, I would say. Definitely found a good spot with this Commando Bren. Able to survey this entire area over here. Actually, granted it is in the middle, but it is probably a bit of a balance issue. KNR can get the drop on these guys, but now has exposed himself. The Grenadiers are definitely likely to lose to these Commando riflemen. Actually, this is just standard rifle. No stun. Raymond does have full control of all of the midpoints. KNR being very passive this game in comparison to the last. One of their Panzer Grenadier MV assist goes down. Does manage to take out a Commando with the machine gun though. KNR out with a sniper and a ZB tripod. Could potentially do some work over here if he takes advantage of the hill slopes and puts it on the edge. Seeing snipers out from Raymond as well. A slow sniper duel, that's what we're gonna see. Customary anti-tank rifle out as well from Raymond. As well as KNR. Looks like one of the rifles had been pulled off over there. Or died. Looks like he died. Just don't see his body. 2 centimeter flag bite is out. Can certainly deal with the British armored cars. And potentially some of these infantry, although they are spread out in cover, which will make it a little bit of a difficulty. Overall though, KNR really has to put the pedal to the metal and get into some of these points. Just gotta slowly bleed out otherwise. What type of information is he looking at over here? He has no information about what the British positions are currently other than what he has seen previously, which is not always a consistency. Considering he has better elite MGs, although not on the field, he's probably better off pushing into that flank, as this could easily turn into a grenade duel, at which the British do have the advantage with the white phosphorus grenades if they bring some of those commandos over, or squad leaders. AT rifle at risk of dying. Does make it into the building. looks like his AT rifle has been pushed up as well, and it dropped the rifle somewhere. Oh no, he had transferred it over to the SAS MG assist. That's smart. Using the extra micro he has to the KNR not really being on the offensive to increase the skill stat of his support weapons. I'm definitely in position to do some flanking maneuvers. Friend in the tower is doing work. Both the AT rifle and the Grenadier rifle or Grenadier MG went down. 2 centimeter, where you deploy that, that is a pretty useless position as far as the 2 centimeter. I mean, if he directs control it, he'll be able to put some shots through here, but the AI is not going to realize that. Definitely should be making full advantage of this and pushing over onto the flank. Seeing the Staghound Mark 1 out now. No AT rifle outside of that 2 centimeter currently, and a Panzerfaust. And we're now threatening the back left point. Fully cleared off the flank defense as well. Seeing a 222 out though, that can certainly counter the Staghound, there's no doubt about that. In fact, it has the advantage. Not sure if he bought that in response or is just trying to deal with these infantry. AT rifle moving to engage the half track, brought up about 6 centimeter by. Though a perfect weight phosphorus grenade, able to see through it, and the boys finishes it off. KNR really needs to be full dumping SP again. Pushing out the mechanized veteran Panzer Grenadiers and other units. He's just getting full spawn camped in harder than he was the first game. Normal Grenadier out. Another sniper out. It's not really in any good positions to engage these elite MGs though, and other valuable targets with those snipers. And the 222, mostly due to the lack of vision and possibly lack of micros, goes down to the Staghound, which puts him in a very dire position. KNR, despite having relatively few units on the field, is over the Magic 40 CP cap, and so is not getting his advantage recovery, mostly due in part to these snipers and support weapons, combined taking up 20 of his 49 CP. Not including the crew, of course. Not sure where Raymond's sniper had gone off to. KNR is making a move finally for that right flank for the middle row points. Oh, the sniper's up here with the Bren. Definitely should have put these guys back here. Bren has now fully reloaded. It's going to be a firing squad. KNR is rightfully bringing out a second anti-tank rifle squad, though, that is going to need it to deal with that Staghound. Sniper is trying to focus on that MG, which is good, although it's not a particularly good MG. Only downing them. Double Staghound sequence buy out from Raymond. And we have the not a Puma out for KNR. Again, 20mm cannon. Fantastic against these Staghounds, but needs to be able on top of it spotting first, since the Staghound does have a slight range advantage, 20 meters. Back point is going to Raymond. Likely will put it into the fast ticking modes. so this game will go on even shorter. Raymond does or should I say, Raymond has split up his staghounds to pressure him more, and with that only singular anti-tank rifle, he's certainly going to be able to do it. Although taking this flag point will be a little bit more of an issue. There's most of KNR's units over there. Looks like Staghound lost a wheel? No, it did not. Staghound does have decent frontal armor. Manages to save it from the 20mm. Unfortunately. Once again, KNR really needs to dump this SP. It's just going to lose before we'll be able to put this into any other valuable buy. Still, Hetzer could be crushing in this instance as long as he does not get outflanked. Not sure what he is referencing is bugged. Is he talking? He might be talking about this non-diploma. I know it had problems with firing, but it should work otherwise. Certainly have to take a look at that for the 1.29.6 update. Finally seeing that flame half-track out way too late. Swaghound's all over the map now. It's not going to be able to accomplish much. Will the Lux be able to line up shot? Raymond is being smart, putting Swaghounds back in cover so they can't be ambushed. Neither player going into officers this time. Been 3.5 minutes where they were available. KNR really does not have the MP to spare, although he really wants that payback. Raymond certainly should be investing into it, but aggression also works. But we're not really seeing that as either. Raymond could definitely be pushing it further. I'm not sure if he's giving him pity or is just focusing elsewhere. Or just trying to ensure absolute victory. Making mistakes is definitely the quickest way to lose. Raymond closing the noose around his Lux. Swaghound engaging it from the front, and anti-tank rifle and Swaghound engaging it from the left. Hill is giving it a bit of issues, though. I'm not sure what the pathfinding is trying to accomplish here either. Very unlucky for that Lux. Put a lot of rounds towards the target, couldn't hit it, and then the Swaghound lined up the first shot. Does get a penetrating hit though, but dies before he can finish it. Flamethrower half-track should have been taking advantage of that and pushing forward, but was not. Definitely another mistake. Anti-tank rifle aiming it up, misses the shot. However, he's going to get another one here. Started the reload, that was a mistake. Does get a penetration. Is he going to finish it before he gets flames over the wall at him? Does get the flames off. Half-track does make it through. Swaghound is in position though. It's going to drive through its own flames. Didn't set itself on fire, but is finished off by this Staghound. You're seeing Panzer Grenadiers, elite veteran Panzer Grenadiers out, but too little too late to make much of a difference here. Going to need to take multiple flags back. This is a poor decision, caught in a crossfire with no cover against cover. More AT out from Raymond. KNR just really needs to turn that aggressiveness up and concentrate everything into a push. But he's just sitting on his SP. Lots of opportunity. not being exploited. $117-19 is a crushing loss as far as the KD goes. Panzergrenadiers may be able to do some work here, although the Brits have the high ground with lots of machine guns. Engaged out of cover, which is certainly not good. He lined up along these walls before he had engaged. Micro mismanagement there, which certainly cost him. Gebirgsjäger finally out. Both Gebirgsjäger. And those guys pushed even further forward into their death. Looks like he had blocked himself with his own smoke as well. Raymond wanting to concede the match there, as you saw, trying to give KNR a little bit of a prop up since he is facing a substitute instead of his actual opponent. Likely not going to be the case. Machine gun bought early on did not provide any value. Definitely could have been used more over here. But that is the game. 150-2, 136-21. Anyhow, guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on the next match. See ya.
With the coming of spring, 1944, the winter stalemate in Italy was broken.